giving you the real from A to Z surrounding the Dallas Cowboys. News, updates, rumors, transactions, takes, and more. So strap up, Cowboys Nation, and start your day off with A to Z Sports. Live with Will Steele.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go. Hip, hip. Good morning, good people. Welcome to A to Z Sports Live. We are streaming live on YouTube. And of course, I am your host, Will Skywalker Steele. Boom! Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, as we continue to break down Cowboys-Browns Week 1. Today, we're talking that Browns aggressive defense against this Cowboys offense and how the Cowboys offense can attack them. I think they have an advantage somewhere, so I got to stick around for that. We are going to jump into the film room, take a look at a couple plays at where I do think they can have an advantage. But before all of that, we got some unofficial depth chart madness, and I wonder, how many people are overreacting to it. I don't know. I saw on Twitter it got posted, and some opinions were flying around there, but I would say caution. Be caution your opinions here, because it is an unofficial depth chart. It is week 1, and a lot of, since there is no more 90-man roster, a lot of what happens is all these guys are going to play for the most part. It's just a matter of how much. But what's good with your Bomb Squad?
Bomb Squad!
Hope y'all are doing fine. Hope y'all are just as excited as I am for football tomorrow. I mean, I already gave my wife the 2-week notice. I said Thursdays, some Saturdays. I do college, but not like that. It's Thursdays, Sundays, Mondays. Later on in the year, you'll get Saturdays for NFL. Hell, it's a game Friday, right? Yeah, you got a Brazil game going on. So I'm just so hyped for football. And like I told y'all yesterday, so excited to talk Cowboys football and break down everything that's going on week to week. This one, I told y'all yesterday, heavyweight matchup. Cowboys offense against the Browns defense, to me, is a heavyweight matchup. It could be why this game is such a push in a way. I believe, now y'all betting people can let me know, the Cowboys are 2.5-point underdogs. Don't know if that moved. Don't know if they're 3-point underdogs now. Don't know if they're closer. But this is going to be a close matchup, because you have two defenses that I think are favored going into the game, especially week 1, especially for the Cowboys being on the road. But if the Cowboys offense wants to put up some points and they want to have any type of success, they'll have to do a couple of these things we're going to talk about today. All right. With that said, let's go ahead and hit this roundup and get into the show.
It's time! It's time! It's time! It's time! It's time! It is time for...
It's time for the morning roundup. Round 'em up, boys.
Let me talk to you.
Yeah, Lemitra, I had to put in, the 2-week notice. AJ, bet.us or bet.us has the Browns as 1-point favorite, so it's getting closer. It's getting closer, man. Here is the Cowboys' unofficial depth chart. The first one, it was released yesterday. Now, look, only doing this because it's the first one. The season as it plays out, these won't really matter. And I'm pretty sure that's why the media posted it, because it's the first week of the season. But here are some takeaways. I guess noteworthy takeaways, if you will. Again, I wouldn't overreact to a lot of this, but we're going to react to the first unofficial depth chart. The first one, if you're going from top to bottom, that caught my eye was and raised my antennas was Brevin Spann-Ford. Tight end 3. Now, I'd imagine if something were to happen, John Stevens Jr. would likely play a lot more. I'd imagine if they're rolling out a big formation, right? They want to go big 13 and not smaller 13, then yeah, Brevin Spanford is going to go out there because he's a big body, 6'6", 6'7", 260, 270, right? He's going to be that bigger body to roll out there in a jumbo type of formation, 13 personnel. If they want to go 13 and do what Kellen Moore used to do, where, it looks like big formation, and next thing you know, all the tight ends spread out, then they'll probably throw in John Stevens. But thought that was interesting. Brevin Spanford felt like one of the last players to make the team, and seeing him above John Stevens. Okay. As we go down the list here, a lot of people talked about Zeke being RB1, but again, that's not a shocker to me. Doesn't really move the needle for me much. I think even Zeke fans will be in agreement that Rico in this current state is probably the when I say better back, I mean people are gonna fight you. Oh, he's not better than Zeke. Rico is probably the back that should lead the team in carries, should lead the team in yards. He has more spring. He's younger, fresher legs. You don't want Zeke being the guy leading the backfield in carries, especially if you're going to talk about upwards of 200 plus carries, plus receptions, right? You don't want that. But I'm not here to fight Zeke stands. Zeke being RB1 is not a shocker to me. Once they signed him, that was a given. It's not really about where you see him on the depth chart. It's about making sure that all these guys are involved week in, week out. That's just flat out. And making sure that they all have a legitimate role that they're playing. And not just, hey, we're going to give Rico 3 carries this week, Zeke 15. If that's the case, boy, oh boy. Chauncey Golston, we know, moved back to defensive end early in camp. I mean, right after the first week, I think it was. And he's backing up DeMarcus Lawrence. And I think that's his home. When he was drafted, I always looked at Chauncey Golston as, in my opinion, either a guy who could put on a few pounds and be a traditional 5-tech guy in a 3-4 defense, right? Old school 3-4 5-techs are upwards of 300 pounds. They go about 6'5", 300, 305, right around there. Now, he ain't touching 300. Or a strong side left defensive end. He's back at his home. He looked more comfortable in camp and preseason. If he can add some semblance of a pass rush, and what I mean is like Chauncey can get after it with pure want to. But if he can add some more tools to his toolbox as a pass rusher, I think he could be a very serviceable guy behind DeMarcus Lawrence. I already think when he was moved inside a defensive tackle, he had some moments in Dan Quinn's scheme, because Quinn's scheme was get upfield and attack. What they're asking these DTs to do this year, that's not in Chauncey's wheelhouse. So they put him back at defensive end, let him control the edges, let him play against the run. He was a run guy coming out, and see if he can add more to his pass rush repertoire. But I say this, he's going to go out there and he's going to go 110%. I don't worry about Chauncey Golston week in, week out. He's going to play his ass off, and he's going to make some plays from time to time. Can he replace the Fowler type of production, Dorrance type of production? We'll see. And Dorrance wasn't a great player, but Dorrance, at the end of the day, had some production on his resume. I think Chauncey Golston will be fine this year. I'll be interested to see, though, if as you go down this list, there isn't a whole lot of, we talked about it before, pass rush juice outside of Michael Parsons. D-Law's not the juice guy, but he is a more nuanced technician that can, get the job done. Nealon gonna give you juice, I think. It's not gonna look like the traditional pure speed rusher, but he'll give you some. But I am very interested to see if they bring up Carl Lawson the first 3 weeks, right? And then eventually move on from Tyrus Wheat. Something to keep our eyes on. The next thing that kind of stuck out was Maris Leofau is among the 3, and I'm using air quotes here, starting linebackers, because it likely won't be 3 like a traditional 4-3, and not DeMarvion Overshown. Again, I would caution overreaction here. I'd be shocked if Demo doesn't play a good bit in this game. I'd be shocked if he doesn't play more than Maris, to be honest with you. So let's keep an eye on that too, week 1. And then finally, the cornerback situation without Deron Bland. Israel McQuam was listed as the backup nickel corner. I don't even have to look, but I almost can guarantee you Israel McQuam is the tallest nickel cornerback in the league if you look around. And Andrew Booth is backing up Kalen Carson. If something were to happen to any of the boundary guys, I would hope they put Israel McQuam out there. I don't want to see Andrew Booth trying to carry anybody downfield. Let Izzy do that. I felt like he was much better out there in camp and the little that you did see in preseason. He played a lot of snaps inside. And if it's going to be vision defense, I like Izzy playing that as well out there. I just need Booth to make a couple plays, Booth, and it'll be good. I'm not feeling comfortable with Andrew Booth right now if he has to go out there. So, and that's really it. There's not really much else from the unofficial depth chart. Again, it's an unofficial one. I don't want to overreact too much. But if you had to look at that depth chart, Cowboys Nation, and you had some takeaways, what would it be for you? I gave you mines. Span 4-1 is not really a huge one. I think that's going to determine on personnel packages. The Izzy one being nickel and Booth being the boundary backup. If an injury happens, I'd be shocked if they don't switch that up. I don't know how you can deny. I don't know how you can look at those two guys and say Andrew Booth is a better guy out wide. I don't get that, but again, unofficial, so I'm not trying to overreact. Yeah, Overshown has returned from the hip pointer, so maybe again, I'd bet if we made I'd bet Overshown plays more. I'd bet. Demetra says Keemon for Andrew. Keemon Hall is on the practice squad. Thank the football gods, and y'all know I think Keemon Hall should be the boundary or the backup nickel, and then Izzy be the backup boundary. Oscar hopes that Golston and Izzy show Zimmer something after being underutilized by Quinn. I'm probably being too harsh when I hear these. I just don't see how they were underutilized. I don't see it, man. Where were you ever playing Israel McQuamu over any of the cornerbacks? Gilly, Diggs, Bland, and J. Lou. It just wasn't happening. And then for Golston played a good bit. Like Golston was a part of your rotation. Let's be real here. Golston is a rotational player. You were playing him over Micah and D-Law and Dante? Nah, not at all. You could argue maybe he should go in and out with Dorrance, and that's fine. But now you're talking about Golston as a fourth defensive end. So I think what happens is we get attached to our down roster depth guys, and I think B. Burr says this a lot. We kind of pump up our guys more than we probably should. And that's no disrespect to these dudes, but we're talking about a rotational defensive end and a backup cornerback with an all-pro, former defensive player of the year on the team and a quality slot guy. So I don't think they were underutilized. No, man. I can't see what Zimmer sees in Booth. I don't either, man. Hopefully he shows us something, though. Randall says we need better defensive tackle or defensive end depth. I'm not comfortable with what we have now. Yeah. Carl Lawson. I think Carl Lawson should be called up immediately if he's ready. Right. I wonder if they, rushed him out there 3 days of practice, threw him out there against the Rams. After that first snap, he clearly looked like a guy that wasn't in football shape. Now he got 3 weeks, whatever it's been. This week he'll have practice. Call him up. Let him get in there and part of the rotation, get his feet wet, and maybe Carl Lawson can give you some ROI. Give you some ROI. Now, notice we didn't talk a whole lot about the offensive depth chart. I don't think there was anything there aside from the span forward thing. And again, that's more personnel based. I think the offense is one of the most set of the two units. You know what you have at quarterback. You could argue the running back room is a room that will be a week-to-week thing, but you know where you're at with wide receiver, with your tight ends, with the offensive line. You are set. Where I don't know, or what I don't know this year is, what are the tweaks offensively? We didn't get a chance to see anything in preseason. They're not going to roll out anything. It's all vanilla. What were the tweaks? Will they come out and do this whole, well, just like anything, there's 4 different phases to the season. So phase 1, we're going to just take it easy. I don't want to see that this year. I damn sure don't want to see that against this defense. No, sir, Bobski. If you're going to come out here and go along with this, we'll get along, go along thing. Hey, we'll just be vanilla. It's week 1. Let's take our time. This Browns defense will make you pay. They'll make you pay. Last year, and again, not everything always carries over, but last year, this defense was an extremely aggressive defense, and it paid off for Jim Schwartz in his first year with the Browns. I mean, when you look at the totality of what they did last year from a ranking standpoint, I mean, it's unbelievable. They were first in yards, first and third down defense, first in passing yards allowed, second in net yards per attempt, third in interceptions, fifth in total turnovers. They were really damn good. But they're a really weird defense, and we're gonna examine them a little bit more. But as I said at the top of this thing, this is Jim Schwartz's second year. He did that in his first year. This is Jim Schwartz's second year in his defense. And they talked to him this offseason, and it was like, hey, man, you had a lot of success last year. What are you going to do in year 2? How are you going to move? And Schwartz, who is a very known, respected defensive coordinator in this league, he talked about how they perfected their fastball last year. A whole lot of baseball analogies from Schwartz. They perfected their fastball. And now he looks to add a few different pitches. This is what he said to the media. Quote, there were some things that we sort of held back last year just from a standpoint that we sort of triaged it and said, okay, what can we reasonably expect to get good at to master in one offseason? But that now gives us a little bit of time because we don't have to work on the fastball. Very similar to the Cowboys offense, right? Like we know what we're good at. Let's work on different pitches offensively. Now we can add different pitches. We don't want to get away from the fastball, but it does give us a chance to work on some changeups and some secondary pitches and add to our scheme. They're going to, sure, they'll add some changeups, they'll add some secondary pitches, and that's what good coaches should do. But I wouldn't expect them to come out here and all of a sudden go from Randy Johnson, 98 mile per hour fastball to an eephus pitch. Ain't that what it's called for all you baseball aficionados out there? I wouldn't expect that, especially in week 1. Week 1, you're usually going to go out there and do what you know and kind of add little things, as you go along in regards to defensively. I expect him to stay aggressive. But damn, Sky, they number 1 in all those categories. Where the hell can we beat them at? Like I said, man, this is a really strange defense. They are really aggressive, really good against the pass. They're average, below average against the run, but nothing alarming. But boy, when you get them in the red zone, they are awful. Awful. By the way, in case people think this is the Cowboys red zone offense, no, sorry, Bob. It's the Browns red zone defense. I don't know that I've ever seen anything like this. I mean, an elite top defense, arguably the best defense in the league, gets down to the red zone and you can score on them at will. 32nd in touchdown percentage when you get down there. And if you get goal-to-goal situation, they're giving up a touchdown 90% of the time. 90% of the time they're giving up a touchdown goal to goal. That's madness. Now, things could change, right? Year to year, everything doesn't always carry over, but I still expect this defense to be aggressive. I still expect this defense, when you get down to the red zone, you can still take advantage of them. How? Let's jump into the film room and let's show you how. Put together a couple plays, and only a couple because there is a theme here throughout a lot of their touchdowns in the red zone, specifically through the air. Now, once you get down there, 1st and goal from the 1 to 5, yeah, you can run it in for sure. They were, not the greatest at defending red zone rush touchdowns, and they're not the greatest at defending red zone passing touchdowns, even though they didn't give up a whole lot of touchdowns. But when they did, a lot of it was here in the red zone, and a lot of it had to do with pre-snap, at-snap motion. Y'all know how I feel about this. And this is one of the tweaks I'm hoping the Cowboys do. And Shotty brought it up a little bit in the offseason, but this one was against the Jaguars. And again, I'll let the play run and then we'll go back. But pre-snap, at-snap motion confuses the defense or gets them out of position at least, and they give up the touchdown pass to Evan Ingram. And let's see how this actually worked out. Now, I have pre-snap, at-snap motion causes the safety to get out of position. Now, y'all know I love at-snap movement, post-snap movement. I want you guys to take a look at the ball when it's snapped and where the safety is. Ball snap, we still got motion, and look what's happening here. These guys are still pointing, communicating, trying to figure out what the hell is going on. And once you get a guy out of position, that's when you can take advantage of it. This safety is technically supposed to be covering this guy. But when you look at where he's at, he's out of position being on this hash here. He's out of position to cover anything in this back area. And with this cornerback being occupied out here, this gives a lot of space in that kind of corner end zone. Now, this isn't necessarily a corner route. It doesn't go all the way to the pylon, but as you see it go here, Trevor Lawrence gets rid of it. He could throw it to the corner, puts it where the safety can't get to it. Tutty. This happens over and over, down here in the red zone against this team. Again, pre-snap, at-snap motion. You're going to get and this is a staple play for Sean McVay and the Rams, right? You're going to get that pre-snap, at-snap movement where they're going to have a fake jet sweep here, fake handoff with the tight end coming back around. And I want you to look at where everybody's movement is here. And this is what makes using motion so good. You want to get this aggressive Browns defense moving in one direction, right? Shots out of one direction. Moving in one direction, and then having a guy like this wide receiver plant, open up those hips, and he's wide open. But when you go back and you look at it, this is a hell of a route too. The 15 sells this thing. I think that's Robertson. And again, what's happening during that motion? Communication. They do communicate, but you got these guys going one way. The wide receiver is going to he's going to do a nice step inside and post corner this thing, but he flattens it out really. And he's wide open. I mean, not sure why Matt Stafford didn't just get rid of this ball right here, but either way, wide open for a touchdown pass. And this is a common theme with this Browns defense when you get down there. Doesn't mean it's not a good defense. It just means you can take advantage of them if you can make it down there, Cowboys Nation. In a little bit here, we're going to show you how you can take advantage of it. Or, I'm sorry, how you can get down there. Because you got to get down there. It's tough. Number one against yards. That means they don't allow you to move the rock as much, especially being at home, right? You got the crowd behind you and all that. So it's not going to be easy to do so. And it's going to maybe take some chunk plays. And I'll tell you how they can get some chunk plays. But before that, let's take a quick little call here from our guy, Glenn. Look, Glenn hit me up before the show even started. Good morning, Glenn.
Good morning, brother. I've been doing a lot of traveling. Haven't been able to get in contact with you, so I said, let me get on this real early.
I appreciate it, man. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good. First of all, thanks a lot for all you've been doing all summer long, and just keep up the good work. Before I go, I need your Cash App because I don't do the Super Chat, but I need your Cash App.
Oh,
if
yeah.
You would be so kind.
I appreciate that, man. It is money sign Chill Will 1026, so 1026.
Money sign Chill Will
1026. Here, I'll put it in the chat. Just
1026. All right, cool. Thanks.
Yep.
First, where you get that T-shirt from, nephew? I like that.
Hey,
Rooster,
this is Hattie B's by so
okay.
yeah. When we had the Hattie B's sponsorship, they gave me hoodies, T-shirts, hats. They gave me the whole thing. So I like this one. I like how it fits.
Yeah. It looks good. A couple of quick questions. Two on the defensive end, and I have first of all, do you think if the Cowboys had known that Sam Williams would have been out for the season, would they still have gotten rid of, wouldn't have signed Armstrong, Torrance?
That's a good question. I would say maybe they let Armstrong go, but maybe they bring back Fowler. Maybe they let both of those guys go, but they sign an additional pass rusher. So that's a hell of a question. I don't know that they keep Armstrong, but I do think they address it. If they knew deep down that, hey, he may be out because of an injury, I think they sign a veteran guy that might be better than Carl Lawson in free agency.
Okay, so they would have gotten someone at another level, at a higher level.
I think so.
Position.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's hurting me with Sam. He has to. When he went out with the weed thing, I said, "Is this going to be another Gregory? Do you think this is going to be another Gregory for us? Is he going to be another Gregory where we're going to constantly have issues and injuries and Sam Williams?"
Yeah, Sam had the car situation, right? Like he got into two. He was speeding, got a ticket. Then he got in an accident, got a ticket. So it's not necessarily Randy Gregory when it came to weed, and I don't think like Randy Gregory actually is a solid person when you really talk to him. I think he's a good dude. He dealt with some demons. Sam may be dealing with demons as well that we don't know about, but I don't think it was as much of a distraction as Randy. So could we be dealing with second round picks that had red flags for different reasons, right? Like Sam Williams had some red flags coming out of college for different reasons. He had to go to JUCO, things like that. That could be the comparison, but I think they're different. They're different people.
Okay. All right. Thanks. All right. And two quick questions about the Cleveland D. I know you're going over the offensive film right now, but I noticed something watching. I saw a little Vach's replay with Broadus last night. Can you answer who do they line up opposite of Miles? Because I see a lot of push when Miles line up on the right side. I see a lot of push on that left side, and there's nowhere for the quarterback to go. So Miles is Miles. He's a beast.
Yeah.
But I think what they also do, they do a good job of getting push on the opposite side, which we don't. I don't know if we're going to have that on our end, on our defense. And also, two-part question: do you think they're going to line up Miles over BB, and what are we going to do to deal with that?
Bro, they're going to put him everywhere. One thing that Schwartz did, and this is shouts out to Voss, they found a scrub. Wherever your weak is at, they'll put Miles over. When they go into the NASCAR, end game, dime, nickel defense, pass down, they'll move him inside. And sometimes he'll stand up. There's that famous play, if you just go look it up, where Myles Garrett's rocking, right? He's doing a basketball motion, and he hits the center with a hezzy.
The crossover.
Yeah, they'll do that. The crossover, they're going to do that. You're going to see him on Tyler Guyton a lot, and we'll get to that here in a second. You're going to see him on Terrence. You remember in 2020 what he did to Terrence Steele. Terrence Steele's a much better player now. But you remember what he did to Terrence Steele. You're going to see him everywhere, and it just is what it is. He's going to be a problem. You got to be ready for it.
I got you. All right, appreciate you. And I don't know if you want to just have a little idea, a little fun to the show. Okay. Maybe the week prior, can we predict who we think in a win, who would be at the table at the barbecue?
That'd be fun. So that's more of a Friday show. So we can do that. We can do that on Fan Friday. We can have you guys predict who will be at the cookout. And for those who are new, man, the cookout, we had a new spin to it with the walk. Shout out to my guy who sent me we got some new graphics for the walk. It's one of my favorite segments to do after a dub. So hopefully we have a cookout on Monday, brother.
I agree. All right, safe year. Blessings to your family, and let's go Cowboys.
Let's do it, man. Appreciate you, big dog.
All right.
Great call. Good to hear from my guy. Yeah, we got another one. We'll get to you here in a second. If you do want to call into the show, you can. 351-999-3787. Shouts out to one of the lady goats in this thing. 2i jumped in here. I saw you. I saw your 2i. And you know I'm going to press the button. I got to do it. Professor O says, Sky, you can't spell BBQ without BB. That's good. I got to give you That's good. Do we want to just jump into it? Look, I was going to bury the lead purposefully, but you know what? My man brought it up. And look, this game is going to come down to this. Let's just be real. Let's just be real here. And honestly, I might do this every week or at least for the first half of the season because we got rookies. Controlling the line of scrimmage. It sounds cliche, but it is probably the number one thing week in, week out. And I want to take a look at this matchup for a good bit over the first half of the year until we get an idea of how these rooks are going to be with these veterans, right? You got two rookies at maybe the two most important positions on the line. Center, the kind of Jarvis of the offensive line, and left tackle. And right out the gate, they're going to be tested with a very veteran group. I mean, again, I haven't looked at everybody's defensive line, and each week, we do this, but I'll be hard pressed to find a more veteran group than this one here. Myles Garrett, Quentin Jefferson, Dalvin Tomlinson, Zadarius Smith. This group, they got kids and mortgages, gray hairs. They back is aching. They using Ben Gay. But they go out there and that's a tough group, man. Quentin Jefferson, we should be familiar with this guy. He played with the Jets last year. I mean, he's played on three or four teams now in 4 years. But everywhere he's been productive. Don't let this veteran defensive tackle / end fool you. He's got 20 sacks over the last 3 seasons for 3 different teams. He had 8 last year for the Jets. And you could say, well, the Jets line was deep. Sure, but this Browns defensive line is no slouch. He's playing next to Myles freaking Garrett. So that matchup between him and this interior offensive line of Tyler, BB, and Zach Martin is going to be one to watch. We should also be familiar with Dalvin Tomlinson, a guy who started his career with the New York Giants. Lots of battles with the Cowboys, right? Signed a big contract with Minnesota. I want to say that Zimmer signed Dalvin Tomlinson. Now think about it. Then he went on to Cleveland the last 2 years. Now I say this. Tomlinson used to be a dominant run stopper. And I say used to because he's getting older. That's kind of tailed off. And maybe that's by design over the last few years because, again, this Browns defense is more of an attacking defense. Last year, I wouldn't say he was a dominant run defender. He he had a career low, like really low in run stops. But he tied a career high in sacks. So again, you're talking about an attacking defense from front to back. And then you got the Zadarius Smith, a power rusher. We should be familiar with him as well. But a power rusher who played in Minnesota, played in Green Bay. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Rashawn Gary. I'm thinking about matchups because he's going to play with Terrence Steele a bit. But I think he's more refined. And he actually kind of reminds me of Everson Griffin, too. He can get after it. I'm going to say that. He was a really good compliment to Myles Garrett last year. Pass, rush, win rate up there. Only had 6 sacks, but again, it's not all about the sacks. But even then, when you got Myles Garrett on the other side, he's going to get a lot of the sacks. And then, of course, you got the defensive player of the year, Myles Garrett. there aren't many words you need to say about this guy. He can quite literally take over a game. He can quite literally win the game. Y'all remember the Colts game? It wasn't a great game for the Browns defense in total. Give up some 30-some points or whatever. Myles Garrett had about 2 forced fumbles, two fumble recoveries. I think he blocked a kick, had a touchdown or something. He took over that game. I do want to point this out, though, man. I do want to put this out. A lot of people like to get on Micah to finish off the season. Myles Garrett didn't finish the season strong. But nobody comes at Myles Garrett. And I'll leave it at that. Week 1, though, look, if you're looking for me to give you an answer, there is no answer. Yeah, you can chip him. Yeah, you can put a tight end over there. He's just going to – I've watched him before. It was a clip somebody posted some years ago. The offense would move the tight end or whomever or back, one of the two, to Myles' side, right? Myles will go to the other side. Then they move him back over and he go to the other. He'll play that game with you. They'll give him that freedom to do it. So either way, whether it's Tyler Guyton, whether it's Terrence Steele, whether it's anybody on the interior, got to find 95 and you got to survive. You got to survive. Because if you can survive it, while this secondary, I think, is very good, mostly the cornerbacks. I mean, maybe the best trio of cornerbacks in the league. While the secondary is very good, there are opportunities for big plays. But I think you have to attack them strategically. Now, we just talked about how in the red zone, the Browns defense literally was the worst defense in the red zone. But you have to get there. You have to get there. And sometimes it's going to take big plays, chunk plays. They won't let you get down there methodically that much. You're going to have to challenge these cornerbacks. That means there's going to be some 50-50 balls that your wide receiver is going to have to win. But one thing I did notice in some of these plays in here, you'll see, is that if they come out here in this cover one, and sometimes they don't even have a safety, but if they come out here in this cover one, there were 3 games that I took note of where kind of this 2x2 scissors concept worked. And in this play, this one of my favorite plays that their offensive coordinator drew up all year. It was a variations of that scissors concept, but it was with a twist, a different cell at the top of the route by Dalton Schultz. But if you're going to get chunk plays on this team, you're going to have to attack the safeties. You're going to have to attack them deep. And you're going to have to take some chances on these corners. And I don't want to see any comebacks against them. I don't want to see any. You're going to have outs. You're going to have comebacks. Okay, that's going to happen. But I'm talking about chunk plays. You got to attack them downfield. And you got to attack these safeties. You got to attack these type of looks. If they want to come out here in a cover 0 type look, it was kind of these scissors concepts, opposite sides of the field, running crossers, deep posts, whatever. But they're crossing up that safety. They're putting that safety in a bind. And another thing you're going to notice, lots of motion. Lots of motion, man. I can't express this enough. You cannot come out here and be stagnant, y'all. You can't do it. We left that Green Bay game, and I hate to bring the Green Bay game back up. We left that Green Bay game. I showed you the plays. I showed you how the Cowboys started, and they were so stagnant. Everything is no motion. Just come out. I'm tell you something right now. If you're going to go out there, line up, and just play straight up, out the huddle, down in, down out, quarter in, quarter out, the Browns are going to maul you. They just will. These corners are really good. They're in year 2 in this system. You cannot just go out there and just straight up play ball. As much as I like the young receivers, as much as I think Cooks is going to have a better start and things like that, this particular matchup, you will need some game plan to this. You will need some strategy in attacking this defense, and you're going to need Dak to be the extension of that on the field, right? There's a play. If I bring this back, there's a play where Matthew Stafford goes to the line of scrimmage, and he sees, middle of the field open. Based on the numbers, you're obviously playing some type of too high zone coverage, shell coverage. And if you're going to have this linebacker play some Tampa 2 and try to run back from this depth, good luck. I'll just throw a seam shot to Puka Nacua. And that was Matt Stafford getting to the line of scrimmage, noticing what's happening and playing that cat and mouse game. This is it right here. He noticed what happened. You see Puka, you see Cup. They readjust their alignment, and look what's happening here. This middle field's open. You're asking 44 to cover Puka Nacua down the middle of the field. Good luck. So you're going to have to play those type of games. Ward, Emerson, Newsome. Again, hard to find a better trio. So it's not like Cowboys Nation. You can say I'm gonna pick on a specific player. It doesn't work that way with this group. Denzel Ward is one of the best in the game. Greg Newsome is grown into one of the best slot cornerbacks. Emerson is one of the better number 2s. This is an aggressive, good group. You ain't picking on anybody. But what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to take chances. I just don't want those chances to be these goofy 10-yard comebacks, these goofy, out routes and with nothing behind it to maybe hold the corner or make them think. Or you're going to have to be a little creative here, is all I'm saying. End of the day, Lamb is Lamb, Ferg is Ferg. You can lean on those guys for sure. But I am asking for a little bit of creativity is all. I don't want them to come out and just like anything, it's just week 1 and phase 1 and, preseason extension. I'm not hearing any of that. I'm not hearing it, man. If you do that, the Browns defense will whoop you. Now, I haven't mentioned anything about the run game. I've mentioned nothing about the run game. Again, the Browns defense was below average yards per carry against the run. I don't think they really played their defensive line to defend the run. I think they relied on this guy back here, JOK. If you're not familiar who JOK is, hurts my heart because I wanted to double up in the draft for Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, right? Yeah, I said that right. Dude's a beast, man. Dude's a beast. He's probably everything that Deion Jones wanted to be after the first few years. Like Deion Jones was like that, then he tailed off drastically. JOK is a cannon. And he's very aggressive, very downhill. They did sign Jordan Hicks, veteran guy. We should be familiar with him, long-time Philly guy. I think he went to Arizona. So they got a decent, well, JOK is a beast, but they got a quality second unit back there, right? They got a quality second level, I should say, at the linebacker position. It didn't look like to me they're asking Dalvin Tomlinson and Jefferson's new, but their defensive tackles is, hey, we're just going to hold you up and let you guys, and making those guys get upfield, and JOK is cleaning up anything that he can clean up. He's not going to be easy to attach to at the second level. Very, very nimble, agile, and aggressive. Comes from Notre Dame. If I remember the Notre Dame tape, man, he was not easy to deal with at that second level. He was a missile. And he's so fast and athletic. If he sees it, he's going. So again, pre-snap motion, at snap motion, those things are critical. Because if you come out and you're stagnant, especially with a young offensive line in regards to Cooper Beebe and Tyler Guyton, who's figuring things out, crowd noise on the road, Jim Schwartz is going to throw some things at him. If you miss, he'll make you pay. He'll make you pay. So get him moving. Get him thinking. Have the defense flowing one way and you go another way. A lot of these things I'm talking about are going to have to be tweaks, though. The Cowboys didn't do a whole lot of that, at least to start off the season. So shoddy. Mike McCarthy. This is going to be a lot on you guys, making sure you are prepared for a very, very, very good defense. And then obviously the players will have to execute for sure. But if you're just going to go out there, roll the ball out and say, hey, Dak, Lamb, and Ferg, go get busy and beat these dudes, it's not going to happen that way. It's not going to happen. You need some type of creativity. Look over and Special K said, are y'all a little nervous about CD missing training camp? I know he's in shape, but working out is different from football conditioning. Not a great first team to go up against when you miss a whole lot of camp. The thing that he has going for him, though, is he's been in this offense. He knows the quarterback. They get a connection. Dak did say it's going to take like 1 week and he'll be fine. But it's not so much him and Dak I'm worried about. Again, it's more so the cat and mouse with an elite defense, an elite passing defense. Again, burying the lead here. Not burying the lead, but again, not talking much about the run game. The reason why I'm bringing up a lot of the pass game, I don't believe the Cowboys are ever in any game going to lean on the run. But if there was one, this would be the game. This would be the game. If we're going to see tweaks, I need to see tweaks in this run game. If we're going to see a true committee, I need to see everybody get involved. What everybody's saying, right? Zeke, when we get down there in that goal line, maybe setting the tone if you want to, get some, physical tone setting type. I'd like to see Rico match that JOK energy. They're both aggressive downhill guys. Oops, forgot about Deuce Vaughn leaking out the backfield, getting him involved in space. Like, make these guys think, play in, play out. Because if you play straight up, not that I think this is going to be a barn burner anyway, but now we're probably looking at an extremely low game. Let's get back to the phone lines here and wrap to 931. What's good with you?
Doing today?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I was looking back at some of games last year. They got blown out the water. One was at home, and that was against Baltimore.
You're kind of going in and out.
And I'm like,
we'll try to come back to 931. Joe Sandberg, what's up with you, Joe? Long time no speak.
Yeah, it's been a while. One of the things I would like to see week one is some screen game.
Yeah, there you go, Joe. That's another way to combat an aggressive defense.
Yeah, because there's a couple of different ways you can attack it. You can do it with some receiver stuff with CD, or Brand Cooks. Hey, or you want to get really crazy, do that with Rico or Deuce Vaughn.
Both, if you want. I personally think Rico is a very underrated pass catcher out the backfield, but why not both? If you want to get throw some little razzle dazzle out there, you have both of them out there at the same time, and you pick sides. That was in the cards last year. There was certain times where Dak had an option. He had the swing screen to TP, or he had the wide receiver screen, so he had to pick. Basically pre-snap. I mean, you could do that with Deuce and Rico.
Yeah, and I do like the idea of also doing some seam routes with Jake Ferguson.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's why that play I showed you with Puka Nacua. I mean, imagine that being either CD Lamb or Jake. If they go out there middle of the field open and they try to get funny with that linebacker, Dak will throw that seam shot to Fergie.
Yeah, because I would imagine probably with what they have at safety, I would imagine they're probably doing a cover two. I would think.
Well, I mean, they've played it. Obviously, you've seen some snaps there when they do it, but this is a very aggressive man cover one. I mean, they're going to have these corners run with you all day, and the safety kind of just play back there and on the roof. Sometimes they'll drop down as a robber type. Sometimes they'll blitz the corner, and now the safety's picking up either the running back or that wide receiver. So, they have different variations how they're aggressive, but this could be remember they said he had a fastball. This could be the changeup. Maybe they come out and it is more cover two. It's more shell, but I don't expect them to change up much. I think you're going to get a whole lot of man, whole lot of cover one, and he's going to blitz and he's going to bring different looks up front to try to get your offensive line off base.
Yeah, if that's going to be the case, I would actually like to see different things thrown at them. What's going to be our fourth pass catcher in theory for wide receiver 3.
Terp could be a very interesting X factor in this game. We talked about attacking them deep.
Yeah, you can throw Terp in there. I would imagine wait, who is their third corner?
Slot corner? Greg Newsome would be their slot corner.
Yeah. Who's the other team's slot corner?
Greg Newsome.
If that's the case, actually, I wouldn't mind necessarily throwing a taller dude at him just to see what can happen with throw Tolbert at him. Or
don't get
Jalen
twisted.
Brooks.
Greg Newsome ain't no little dude. This ain't J. Lou. Greg Newsome go about 6'1" or so. So again, these are good corners. You're basically when you are testing these corners, you're just going to have to win against good guys. It just is what it is, man. There is no mouse in the house in that cornerback room, or at least for the top 3 guys. You're just going to have to win your matchup when your number is called.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot like our corner room.
I love the optimism here.
Before Bland got hurt, okay?
Oh, when Bland is out there, okay, yeah. When Bland out there, yeah, it's I'd argue teams would probably try to get at J. Lou, even though I respect J. Lou, but I don't think he's as fresh and young and good as Greg Newsome. But I hear you, brother. Yeah, when we are healthy, I do think we have a quality trio.
And I cannot wait to rock that DB jersey on game day.
Yeah, man, I can't wait till you come back, bro. Hey, appreciate the call, Joe. Good to hear from you, man. Keep coming in each week, bro.
Yeah, I'll definitely try to do that when I have day off in a week.
Oh man, I hear you, man. Work hard. Salute. Let's try 931 one more time. He was cutting in and out 931.
My bad, bro. Can you hear me better right now?
Yeah, so far not cutting in and out.
Cool. Looking through the Browns season, I caught a couple of their games. I noticed that there was 3 games that they got blown out. The only one that got blown out at home was Baltimore. I was looking through. I'm like, all right, well, air raid and what was it? Was it through the ground? It was nothing special on offense. I mean, the only thing that I could think of was got after the quarterback. I looked at the quarterback and it was nobody. I don't even remember who the quarterback was.
Who, the Browns?
So my only thought is one of the best options is to get after Deshaun early. I think that you're gonna corners have, and unless it's somebody who emerges, CD and Ferg.
So I'm gonna
have to do something different.
I'm gonna try to decipher what you're saying, but your phone keeps stuttering, so I gotta let you go. 931. Hopefully next time you call in, we can get it fixed. Appreciate you calling in, man. So it sounds like he was saying he looked at some of the games where they weren't that good at, and he didn't know who the quarterback was. PJ Walker was one. Flacco came later, and he mentioned getting after Deshaun Watson. Yeah, we talked about Deshaun, yesterday, and this is a proven year, me personally, for Deshaun Watson. 4 years ago was the last time. 2020 was the last time Deshaun Watson was a quality quarterback in this league. Yeah, he was suspended for a season and injuries, but I don't care. That's a long time in this league. So, and I would test him. Yeah, I would 100%. He will be tested. Mike Zimmer is not going to go out there. You talk about being stagnant. Mike ain't that. Mike is going to throw different things at Deshaun Watson. And yeah, he's a veteran. But the most recent, Watson is just, he looked like a backup. And I saw somebody's, I don't know if it was in here, or it was on Twitter. I don't know where it was. But somebody was like, Well, it depends which Deshaun Watson we're going to get. The guy that was better than Dak his whole career or the guy last year. Bro, it's been a long time since he's been better than Dak. Y'all be holding on to these. Remember, Wentz was better and Watson is better and Russ is better and all these people were so bad. This was like 4, 5, 6, 7 years ago. Y'all keep holding on to that. Dak been better than all these dudes for quite some time, okay? I understand y'all don't like the quarterback, and that's fine. But you absolutely have the advantage at quarterback. And it's not about what Deshaun Watson we're going to get. So you're saying you're hoping for Deshaun Watson of 2020? Yeah, okay. Your quarterback's better. As a Cowboys fan, why the hell does that make you mad? And again, I'm going on a tangent. I'm sorry, and I'll get back to this thing. But I saw one of them what did we call them last year, y'all? What did we call the fraud fans? Not the bandwagons. It was something else. The ones that openly root for the downfall because they don't like the quarterback and they want to suck so they can get top picks. The dude was like, hey, man, hopefully we win 3 to 4 games. So we can get boom, 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 boom. I'm like, I don't get y'all. I truly don't get y'all. But I'm not gonna go. My bad. Let's get back on track here. Okay, these numbers I'm not familiar with. Okay, let's go. 623. What it is? What it do?
Yo, what's up, Skywalker? This is Zombie BBL Drizzy.
Zombie. Oh, Zombie. What BBL Drizzy?
Yes.
You first time caller, right? I see you in the chat, but I never talked to you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So I want to say some of the contingencies and plans I'd say we should do with Amari Cooper. I want to give a shout out to Law Nation. I'd say I kind of mimic his plan. I think we should roll coverage Coop's way and bracket David Njoku and go on our one-on-ones with Amari Cooper. No, not Amari Cooper. Sorry. Elijah Moore and Jerry Jeudy. I know Jerry Judy's a nuanced route runner. He knows how to route in his routes, but I feel I'll take our one-on-ones. I'd rather them beat us one-on-ones than have Coop beat us on a 60-yard, pass because I feel like, it's
well,
I'd rather have them.
I think this year you're going to get a lot of shell coverage from the Cowboys. So you're going to see a lot of too high safety help. So he should have help, whoever the corner is, whether it's Carson, Diggs, whomever, there should be help. But
yeah,
you remember the Bill Belichick game plan that kind of made not him famous, but that the Patriots famous, where they say, okay, look, we know you have a top tier wide receiver. So instead of putting my number 1 on him one-on-one all game or whatever, Diggs, we'll put the number 2 on him. We'll have safety help. And then we'll shut down your number 2 wide receiver and we'll bracket everything else. That could be an option that Zim maybe thinks about as well. But see, the difference is Zim is a way more of a vision defense, zone defense, and Belichick is week to week. This dude he'll switch up. You don't know what he is. He's a multiple defense. He switches it up. He's a chameleon. That's something that often gets brought up in regards to, hey, you got a number 1? Cool. I'll put 2 guys on your number 1 and I'll shut down your number 2. It's a thought.
Yeah, I think ultimately it's because I don't want us to press Trey Diggs. He's barely coming off an ACL injury. If we are going to put a one-on-one with Coop, we got to have safety help over the top. And so ultimately that plays into factor. And I think if Deshaun Watson isn't 80 to 70% of his 2019 to 2020 self, then we don't really have anything to worry about.
You that nervous for Diggs? I mean, I get it. He coming off the ACL and he gets Coop the first game, but I don't think you have to put safety help over him every single time. I do think you can trust Diggs more than the rookie. I feel like the rookie you probably want to do that more often. I feel like with Diggs, you can play your scheme and have safety help when it's called for, but if you want to mix it up, he's the guy I feel confident playing one-on-one.
Yeah, and it's just one of those things where I just feel like overall, I have faith in our offense. I think with our offense, to get CD Lamb going, we should have him and Terp on the end around. At least once or twice a game, get them on the end around and get them going. Getting them in the game.
Jet sweep with Terp, man. That's a cheat code.
Yeah, because I don't think we're gonna slowly.
The conference has been locked.
I don't expect us to necessarily just take off right off the bat, because I think this is a blessing in disguise, like playing all these tougher AFC North teams on the front end of our schedule, because now we can establish a sense of physicality. I don't want to put this on as win, lose, or draw. I just want to see how we look against physical teams in these first few weeks.
Yeah. First few weeks are always tough because I don't think it's ever an indication of who you are throughout the season. That's why every year, what do you predict this and that? I don't predict win-loss records, especially early in the year, because teams are usually different. You do find things out about your team early. You take that data and you move forward. The Cowboys did it last year. They came out slow offensively, trying to pace themselves, and realized we can't do that. And they switched some things up or accelerated some things, and the offense was completely different, right? So you're filling your team out over these first 4 weeks, in my opinion, and then you'll have a better idea of who you are. I like playing these teams early in the AFC North because you don't got to deal with the weather, right? Like you don't got to deal with playing Cleveland and Cleveland. I've lived in that area, not Cleveland in general, but close. That lake effect is real. You don't got to play Pittsburgh up there. That's real. Cowboys don't do well in those situations. So the fact that you're getting these guys early, it may not be as smooth as playing at home, but I feel like you should be able to execute a little bit better because you ain't got to deal with the weather.
Yeah, and I feel like ultimately as well, like with, offense and defense, I feel very confident in our offense. I just think,
In general or this week?
Just in general, because
Gotcha.
I like our matchups. Like I said, I know they're going to try to roll coverage CD way. They're going to try to bracket Berg, but if we get those those light boxes, I think we should take advantage of them and run the ball. I think Rito has good juice. I would like to see a little bit of juice in there, but I know the politics are going to have Zeke favored because I don't know. I've been seeing a lot of
matchup.
reports.
This isn't one of those matchups. I think the Cowboys are favored offensively. I don't. Schematically, player wise, I don't think they outmatch, out talent, out anything this Browns defense, which is why I think when that happens, I often say this to y'all a lot, man. When you got a team that either is equivalent with you talent wise or better than you talent wise, whether it's the whole team or whether it's a unit, it's really going to come down to coaching and game planning and putting these guys in position, a better position than just rolling the ball out there and saying, go beat them. I don't think the Cowboys, if you really look at both units, I don't think you can say this unit is better than that. And I think Dak is one of the best quarterbacks in the league, but at the end of the damn day, the other team gets paid too. And the other team has a lot of damn good players and a coordinator who's like that. So this is a tough matchup out the gate. That's why I think Schottenheimer, Mike, they're going to have to bring their damn A game right out the gate.
Yeah, right out the gate, I think they're going to have to bring their A game. And I think ultimately, I like how we're not going to put Demo in like too early. Like I think when we drafted him, we'd also drafted him not just to be a linebacker, but to also be a QB spy, like to spy on say like a Jalen Hurts type player, to spy on these QBs who are good at with their.
You hearing something I haven't heard? You said that we're not putting in Demo's not. What do you mean?
I'm sorry?
You said you're glad we're not putting in Demo or we're not playing Demo early.
Yeah, not playing them too much because he's freshly coming off. So I think it's good how we're slowly integrating him in the game.
How do you know that? Though, is what I'm saying. I mean, did you hear a report that Demo is going to be slowly integrated? That's why I was asking, because if that's the case, I think that's noteworthy.
Well, it's because of that groin injury. You don't want to because it's one of those things. If you don't let it properly heal,
he doesn't have a groin injury.
The whole season.
Yeah, he doesn't.
So it wasn't a groin injury?
No, sir. Oh. He had a hip pointer that he came back from, and he's a full participant. So
yeah, well, I'm glad. But I think he'll be a good QB spy for Watson. I think practicing against Trey Lance, he has very deceptive speed, and I think it's going to help against a guy like Watson. I wouldn't fear him. He's not like his 2019 self, but I just think it does play a big factor in this game.
I definitely want to touch on that real quick because with Ken Dorsey in town, I do wonder how they use his legs. Hey, appreciate the call. Who's this? 623. Thanks for calling in, man. interesting segue here, or I'll force the segue. We talked about Deshaun Watson's legs. From what I saw, Deshaun's not trying to run around to run. He's trying to run around and make plays, and he didn't do a good job of that last year. But Ken Dorsey's here. And Ken Dorsey worked with Josh Allen. Ken Dorsey worked with Cam Newton. And Ken Dorsey, according to Stefanski, he's got a big say in the offense and how it's going to go down. So I do wonder if Ken Dorsey is going to try to use Watson's legs more in a real legitimate read option type of situation. He ain't built like Cam and Josh, though. Cam and Josh are legitimate tanks. Watson, he gets banged up. He's flimsy. We know Watson ain't like that, but he's nimble. So I think they'll move the pocket with him. But will they run with him? Michael Parsons out there, so you want to run around. Hey, be my guest, man. Get rocked. Be my guest. Landlord from Alabama. What's good with you, big dog?
What's happening with you, man? You all right?
I'm fantastic. Excited for the season to start. Excited for week 1. What's on your mind, man?
Man, man, I was just listening to the show, man. You know you do a good job breaking stuff down.
Thank you, bro.
I was paying attention, man. I just looked at. Well, I know you talking about our offense versus their defense, right?
Today, yeah. But yesterday I did the other side. Yeah.
Okay. But I ain't gonna lie, man. I looked at their last game, the last time they was on the field, on my channel, and I really had to. I think they need to be a little humble too. You know what I'm saying? Now I know they way better at home than they are on the road. I understand that, but they got embarrassed at home. I mean, they got embarrassed on the road too.
They sure did.
Like they looked terrible, just as bad as we did against Green Bay. Now I know we gotta respect our opponent. Huh?
I'd argue worse.
You see what I'm saying? Like I know we gonna respect our opponent because we know they're a talented group. But I think we need to, you know what I'm saying, take that into consideration too. Because they, like you said, they terrible in the red zone. And I seen them boys get just destroyed time and time again against a rookie quarterback. Sure. And, like, that's saying a lot. That's saying a lot to these guys. Like, of course, they got great personnel. We understand they're a great unit. But I'm looking at them like they could be had, too. Just the way they, like, our whole fan base turned on our whole defense after the Green Bay performance. They fan base should feel similar over there in Cleveland, too, to me.
I don't know about that. Because I do think there's context, right? First of all, I did actually go look up. I wanted to know how Schwartz and them felt about that game because it was atrocious, right? And he said, yeah. You know, that was a talking point all offseason about, hey, man, why did it end that way? Like, what happened? And he said, went back and looked, and again, this is an aggressive defense. And he said a lot of people, I wish I had the quote, but he used another baseball analogy. But, you know, basically what they were doing, they were chasing plays. And when you chase plays, you give up big plays if you're aggressive defense, which hence is why I would like to use a lot of, you know, deceptive things to get them to bite, right? But I'm also not going to hold them to that one particular game for a number of different reasons. One game doesn't trump who they were for the whole season. And number two, the biggest reason of them all, Bobby Slowick, Mike McCarthy. Completely different. You go watch that that Texans game. That was a Bobby Slowick masterpiece. And we just don't run and I did show a play. I showed a play from that game. We just don't run that type of offense unless something changes. So I could have just won in on that game, but the context when you dive deep into it, Slowick comes from a Shanahan tree and runs a Shanahan style offense that puts that type of defense in a bind because they run so much man. The Shanahan offense will destroy your man defense if you don't get home and if they use a lot of pre-snap motion and use a lot of creativity post-snap. And Slowick did that. That one pass I showed you where it was like the scissors, and you had play action with Stroud rolling out nothing but green grass to sit there all day and let the routes develop. Man, Dallas don't do nothing like that. But they should. They should be stealing the shit that they saw, you know, the Texans do. I don't know if they're going to do that, landlord. I I definitely think they can be had, and that's what today's show is about, right? Finding ways to take advantage of this defense. But I also don't want to hold them to just that one game and be like, yo, this is who they is, and we can go put up 45 on the road. I don't know about that. Yeah,
that's a little, that's a little unfair. But I'm just saying, like, I just want the temperament to be fair. Because I know a lot of people, the whole NFL dogged us out. They didn't respect us no more after we put that performance out.
Yeah.
We even went down on our defense. But I just watched the whole tape of them getting destroyed too. So I'm just saying.
Fair enough.
I know he ain't the same. He ain't the same as Bobby Slowick, right? He's not. But this is a copycat league. Mike McCarthy is a smart offensive mind. He is going to implement some of the things that got them last year, I'm sure.
Hey.
And I feel like our personnel is better than what the Texans had out there, in my opinion, on offense. Maybe not the running back, but I like our wide receivers better than the receivers that they had. Nico Collins had a great year, but I'll take CeeDee Lamb.
The day
Tank Dell went in there.
Again, I don't think it's really much. I say this. The reason why they were able to do that wasn't personnel, landlord. It was scheme. It was scheme.
I just told you, I feel like Mike McCarthy don't implement some of them things too, though.
But the day Mike McCarthy copies something will be the first time I've seen it. So you look, no offense, it's more so blind optimism that he will implement some of these things. I'm just going off of what is, and he has not done those things, landlord. He needs to. He absolutely needs to. I hope he does, but I can't sit here and lie to y'all and be like, yeah, Mike is going to do that. When he does, I'll say that, but I haven't seen that yet.
Okay, that's foul, but I'll say this. If he doesn't implement some of the things that you just seen destroy this defense, we need to be getting a new OC. I'll tell you that.
Bro, I've been trying to get one of these young guns for years.
That's the first thing I'm going to do. The first thing I'm going to do if I'm scouting the team, I'm going to see who got them and how did they get them.
It shouldn't take week one. It shouldn't take week one of this game. You know what game should have sold you on? The Green Bay Packer game. That's all we needed to see. Yeah. Big Mike, in his first opportunity as the play caller, the game planner, came out with that game plan. Nah, fam. Go get me one of these. Go get me Bobby Slowick's water boy and let's roll.
Okay, but time out though. You just said you ain't gonna hold him to one game, but you holding Mike to one game.
No.
We gotta be fair now.
Mike had all season.
The whole year now.
Mike's go look at Mike's offense the first 6 weeks. Go look at Mike's offense against the top opponents, the top defenses. Go look, and then come back.
It was the first year though. Of course you're gonna have some growing pains.
Also, go look at Mike's history. I've done this. I don't know if you've seen the show. This ain't just one game, bro. Go look at Mike's history as a play caller and as a head coach in postseason games. He starts slow, is stagnant, and his offenses come out there stumbling over their feet. This ain't Bobby Slowick one year. This is Mike McCarthy like the last decade, bro. That's who he.
So what I'm saying is, so how did we become a great offense last year then?
4.
Because it sounds like you got it out for Mike.
87. I don't have it out for Mike McCarthy. I'm rooting for Mike McCarthy. That's the thing we got to stop doing as creators and as fans. When somebody is giving you straight facts about a player. No, because this happens here with people in the chat. This happens here with callers. This happens here on Twitter. I'm giving you straight up facts about who Mike McCarthy has been his whole entire career. But I'm saying, hey, I hope he can continue to grow. That's not me having it out for any of these players or coaches. That's just the straight facts, bro. I can pull up the numbers. I got the graphics and everything. Over the last 6 playoff games between 2 top quarterbacks, Dak Prescott and Aaron Rodgers, Mike McCarthy has come out the gate stumbling on offense, and his quarterbacks have had to be the ones to play hero, and it has not worked out. It has not worked out. So this isn't one game I'm holding against Mike McCarthy. This is data collected over a decade, bro.
I mean, I understand what you're saying. Like I said, all I'm saying is he still orchestrated a great offense last year in his first year, having the reins of it. Did he not?
Sure. I'm not denying that this offense can't be good, bro.
This all I'm saying, Sky. You just gave them a fast shot. You said I'm not gonna judge them off of one game. I'm talking about
because
current Mike McCarthy.
Because context is
current Mike McCarthy.
So you're all over the place. I'm not judging them off of one game, no, because that's an elite defense, and that specific game we don't do what that team does. That's the main reason. But we don't do what that team does. Do we?
Not schematically, not.
Okay. Now, had they went out there and they did that against a Mike McCarthy style offense, defense, whatever, or a Mike Zimmer style defense, whatever, then yeah, I'd have more, credence to it. But bro, Bobby Slowick, what he went out there and did, that had nothing to do with. Shouts out to Stroud. That had more to do with scheme than it had to do with the players. I agree with you. We got better players at skill positions.
I argue it was more of their scheme. Believe it or not, because the Browns usually they was running a lot of zone that game for some reason.
Go back and watch that, man. Bobby Slowick put on a masterpiece.
Yeah, so I'm just saying, I just want to be fair across the board. That's all. I understand what you're saying. You collected data from history, but I'm just saying it got to change a little bit with Mike here, though, with this personnel group. You got to give them a shot with this group.
Why are you speaking as if I'm not? You got to give him a shot. You down on my... No, bro, I'm just telling you.
You made your case about his history, though, Scott.
Right, and I follow that up with this is what we need to do to see growth, to have growth. Just because I'm not out here like you saying he's going to do it doesn't mean that I don't want him to. This is what I need to see to do it. We have 17 games to collect to see that happen towards the end of the season. Again, I don't know if you watch my show, but I say often, let's see how we're playing at the end of the season. What happens between now and week 10, 11, 12, at the end of the day, I hate to say it, as long as you're collecting wins, that really doesn't hold much weight to me. I want to see how they take all of that and they play towards the end of the season going to the playoffs. Because for 3 to 4 years, wherever it's been in the playoffs, we've seen the writing on the wall, landlord. We've seen the writing on the wall offensively, defensively, whatever you want to call it. We get to the playoffs and then we want to act all surprised. Man, the breadcrumbs been there all year. Buffalo, Miami, San Fran, they were there all year. Your offense did not step up to the challenge against these quality defenses. The game plans weren't there, and Mike McCarthy was the guy calling the punches. So I just want to see him adapt to that.
Cowboy thing, though? That's more of a Cowboy thing.
Sure, but Mike's the head coach now. Mike's the head coach and the play caller. So the buck has to stop somewhere. Now, this is a totally bigger picture if you want to go deeper with the whole Jones in front office. But it's football time.
I'm just saying, you talk about playoff performance and not being on the pod. That was before Mike, too.
And it's with Mike. And it's with Mike, too. So, what? It's with Mike. Go look at the 3 playoff losses, Green Bay, 2 to San Francisco, and even the playoff victory against Tampa Bay. Dallas has come out slow every single damn time. And when that happens, and it happens often and over and over and over again, that is about the leadership. That is about preparation.
All right. I don't know, man. Like I said, I know the Cowboys are like you know them, and they've been doing this before Mike and probably gonna do it after Mike. I mean, I just can't count that to him. I just can't do that.
If that's all it's going to be, this happens before, it's going to happen after. Then what is really going to change, then, landlord? You can't usually talking out both sides of your mouth. You said, hey, Mike is going to do this, and now this was happening before Mike, going to happen after Mike. So basically, you're saying it's going to happen again.
I was just saying some of the things you blaming him for are just Cowboy things. That's all I'm saying. I ain't saying that everything. I'm not clearing his slate for everything. Some of this stuff is his problem. Some of these things is his fault.
Sure.
If he's not implementing stuff that he see that's successful, that's a problem. But I'm just saying some of this stuff is just plain old Cowboy stuff, Scott, that's been here. Can we not agree with that?
I guess, landlord. I guess, bro. We were talking about Mike, and we were talking about him specifically in game plans and things. But if we're going to go the broader view, yeah, I mean, this goes beyond Mike McCarthy, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens, man. Like I said, I feel confident about it though. Still, I know the Browns are good defense, but I feel like we can get them. And like I said, it went many teams that slowed us down for real last year. It was about 3 or 4 out of a 17-game season. That ain't too bad.
I don't disagree. When I do my shows like this, it's to point out what the team does well, where you can take advantage, what we do well. That's what this point of this show is about. My show today, if you've seen the tone, is not, oh my God, the Cowboys can't win. That's not my tone, man. I think they can definitely do some things. Yeah, but your tone is like, man, we talking about the Browns defense gave up 45 to Texas. We can go out there. I know, landlord. I know.
Maybe I came across the wrong way. But like I said, when I seen their last game, man, I ain't gonna lie, I felt a little better. Because I know what they do against people, at home, and I know what they do against some great offense. But it just feel a little better since I seen them getting destroyed like we did. That's all.
Hey, if that make you feel better, then hell yeah. I hope we go out there and do some of them things they did to them. We go out there and drop 40 on the road against them. I might be in here overreacting, landlord. You might hear me talking Super Bowl if we go drop 40.
I'm just saying, though, the only reason I felt like the conversation went in that direction because, like, we started talking about, when I was talking about how they got big, you came with a good excuse for them. But nobody cares about our excuse.
No,
it was a why
excuse.
It's a reason that we got big.
No. I'm not coming up with no excuse, bro. I'm giving you context to that matchup and saying, yeah, they got whooped. There's no excuse. They got whooped. I'm saying we can't compare that game to us because we don't do what the Texans do. We just don't. And you said, well, I can see Mike McCarthy doing that. And I'm like, well, when he does that, that'll be the first.
Yeah. Like I said, I just feel like, when you said that, it's just like, we gotta say, within context, like you said, we got a why the reason why we got destroyed too. And more than likely, but nobody want to hear that. It's a good reason why we got destroyed.
Hey, bro.
But nobody want to hear it. You see what I'm saying?
I think our wires are crossing, brother, and we're gonna keep talking in circles. I'll end on this. I'm not giving no excuses, no reasons, no nothing. In comparing the two teams, my whole point is I can't look at that game and be like, yo, let's go do that because we don't do what the Texans. I don't know how more poignant I can be about it. We don't run that same style of offense. If we ran that style of offense, then I feel a lot better about doing that type of situation, but we just don't. So we'll have to attack it differently within the scope of our offense.
Yeah.
That's all, bro.
I get what you got.
All right, man. Let me let these other folks get on the horn, bro. Appreciate you calling in, landlord. Make sure y'all check him out too.
Already, man.
That's fun. Let's get 972. What's good with you?
What's up? Scott, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great.
I'm like landlord. Same game plan. They didn't stop it in the playoffs. They ain't gonna stop it now. So run the ball, play action, and try to get them. Since they play 1-on-1, our receiver, CeeDee Lamb is faster than all them other defensive backs. I mean, I wouldn't burn them out, but heavy dose of CeeDee Lamb, and our linebackers can stop him from running. He'll throw an interception. He good for 2 of them. I mean, the Cowboys can win. I just use the same game plan. I know we ain't the Houston Texans, but we can beat them, man.
Yeah, man. I think we can beat them too. And that's why I was giving y'all where to attack this defense today. I'm not sure if you missed it, but we got film in the red zone. We got film between the 20s. We got schemes to how to attack them. Yeah, there's things out there to do that. The Cowboys have to implement some of those things because I don't think some of those things are within what we do. Now, what we actually do, or what I've seen at least in camp, they've been under center a lot more. So hopefully under center we get some play action rollouts. We get a little bit more of that. This will be a game, like I said at the top of the show. If you're going to lean on the ground, this will be a game to do it because this is a tough secondary given how you play the game. Like you need to lean on this ground, and take advantage of that slight advantage you may have depending on how they're able to match up here in the trenches.
I think you got to stop Miles Garrett. You can't let him have it.
No sir.
The rookie of himself. I know the rookie is good. You got to chip him and protect the quarterback and move him around, move Prescott around. Just don't have him sitting in the pocket. You can pick him apart. You just use the tight end, use your receivers. Got to use that running game. I think that I say 45-17 Dallas.
Excuse me, sir?
I know it's how I'm trying to play 45-17 Dallas.
Oh, boy, it's going to be that kind of year, huh? Okay.
Got to dream big. But, he's got to play good to stay healthy and run the ball. Zeke can get off. Last time Zeke played against him, he had a great game. I know it's been a while, but got to run that ball. Got to make plays.
All right, brother. Appreciate the call. Let me get a couple more up in here. We got like 3 more I got to get through.
All right,
man.
Bless you.
Yes, sir. You as well. 45-17 would be crazy. 915. What it is? What it do?
Hey, what's going on, Sky? How are you, brother?
I'm good. How you doing this morning?
Hey, I'm doing good, man. I talked to you a few times on Box's show. First time on your show.
Thank you.
Really quick, just to go back to what Landlord was saying, that's Mike's fault. We came out flat. That's the head coach. That's his job. Supposed to get everything laid out, get us ready to go. We came out flat, man. But, yeah, that's neither here nor there. When it comes to Cleveland, am I the only one that believes, guys, that our running game is going to be pretty decent this season with our 2 rookies? I mean, we haven't seen them, right? But am I the only one that believes that they could be something?
No, I've heard a lot of fans feel confident about the run game. I don't think you're on
I feel
an
like
island
Dowdle could come through, man. Get deep in the red zone, save him for those situations. But I truly feel like Dowdle can give us something, man. Put in Deuce to a little burst here and
You're
there.
phone up out the street.
But I think BB and Guidance are going to give us something this season, man. I really believe that we're going to run up and down Cleveland.
Hard to hear you, big dog, but appreciate the call. let me keep moving. It sounds like you outside.
Yes, sir. Salute.
All right, thank you. 904. What it is? What it do?
Hey, this is Daryl, man. How you doing?
I'm all right, Daryl.
Hey, all right. Hey, and let's get ready to start this season off and on quest for 6 right now, and that's what it's really all about. But what I really want to pertain is see how this new defense is going to go, and I think that Mike Zimmer is going to be the key to what we're going to do as far as like setting the tone for the season, because that defense was really getting gashed on the run, and that's what we need to do is to stop that run. But the good thing about that Nick Chubb is not going to be playing that game, so that might be a little bit to our advantage to take advantage so that we can kind of put pressure on Watson and make him go into a mistake, which that's going to lead to turnovers. That's what, parts of them, they can go in there and they can go eat, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no Nick Chubb is big. They might not have Jarek. I mean, the injury report comes out today, but they might not have their left tackle either. I think Jack Conklin is his first game back, so they could be compromised up front a little bit. That's huge. I talked about it yesterday. Just being honest, and they can go out there and run for 150 yards, but going into the game, I don't fear their run game. Like years past, you would fear Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, run game Moses, that front offensive line. I don't fear it in this game, so I think as long as you can keep that in check and put the game in Watson's hands, yeah, I agree with you. I think you can force some turnovers. He takes a lot of sacks. He takes a lot of them. And yeah, I think the Cowboys have the advantage on that side of the ball. We talked about that yesterday.
Yes, they do, and that's where they need to just start clicking in and say, hey, we need to take advantage of this and just keep it moving, because then also we got to work pretty well in that red zone, and then kind of work CD pretty slow, so get them up to football speed as they call it, because
that's going to be a
he's been out of
challenge.
camp.
I think that's going to be a challenge. I hear that work CD slow, work dig slow. Hey man, two of your best players on your whole football team. At some point, you just got to say go play, especially against a quality opponent. It's going to be hard to just slow roll your two best players out there against a good team, and so you might just have to try to not get by, but you might just have to say, look, y'all big time players for a reason. We need y'all out here, especially cornerback. We got injuries we're dealing with. Wide receiver, I mean, CD's the alpha dog. So, look, I love what the Young Bucks are doing, but this ain't the game I want the Young Bucks to go out there and CD only playing 25 snaps. You know what I'm saying? This ain't the game.
Oh yeah, he got to pay more than 25. We paying him that much money. Hey, you got to get out of the CD. I'm sorry.
No, you ain't lying.
But, yeah, because this ain't no cupcake game like it was last year. Because I'm glad we starting out with a strong opponent than we did like last year. Because we tired of blowing out the Giants every year, 40-0 and stuff like that. But hey, this is a tough test for them, and this is what they need. Then those other easy games, they'll be pretty much easier than what everybody thinks, because they took Arizona lightly, and look what happened. So, we want to just go ahead and just take care of business now. Hopefully that they go in there and do what they're supposed to do. And I'm looking at it pretty close. It'll probably be like a 14-point win for Dallas. I'd say like 30-17, right around that. 31-17.
Yeah.
They're just.
Y'all really, that 45 was 17, 30-17. That would be a very encouraging dub. If the Cowboys go out and put up 40 and 30 plus, 30, they put up 30. But that will be.
They put up 30 anyway.
Yeah, they put up 30 a bunch, sure. Yeah. But if you do it against this team, you score 40 and 30 plus against this defense, I do think that is something to be proud about. Because I see this more of a physical fight that may come down to a closer game. You got one of the best kickers in the league. It may come down to a field goal, may come down to a possession, may come down to which defense, who I think both defenses have the advantage going in, which defense makes the play. I could see this being a defensive game.
Right.
But shit,
that's gonna be the key.
Yeah, if we can go out there and this is an offensive game for the Cowboys, that's a whew. Because it ain't too many. I don't think there's gonna be too many.
I guarantee they're gonna throw it to Carson. Carson's gonna get his chance.
Oh yeah, they're gonna challenge Carson, man. They're gonna challenge Carson.
Yeah, they're gonna challenge him. They say, okay, you wearing number 21, we're gonna see what you are. So that's what they're gonna do. And that's what most NFL teams do. They see a rookie out there, they're gonna challenge him. It's just up to Carson to accept the challenge and play like the big boy. Sure.
Yeah, man. Hey, appreciate the call. Let me, because I don't hear it in closing. So let me get to the last call here, bro. Appreciate you.
Okay, man. You take care, and I'll see you in Dallas soon.
Yes, sir. Salute. Let's get to 725 to close out the lines. What's good with you, 725? $725, you live? 725 going once. 725 going twice. 725 sold to the super chats. And you don't got me. You might have me on mute. I don't know, but I can hear you. Let's get to some supers, man. I saw a lot of them coming through as we were talking. We're gonna force a whole lot of them. Shouts out to you. The Coleman Cowboy just dropped 5 just to show love.
Super chat.
Appreciate you. And he also dropped 10 and said, it'll be a great test for our offensive line. I agree. We will nevertheless see what our O-line will look like against one of the best D-lines. Glad we faced him week 1. Yeah, right off the bat. Dan dropped 5 and said, I'm judging McCarthy off that one game. No, I'm not. Forget that our defense gave up 50 at home playoff game. How was head coach supposed to call plays? Dan, you ain't new here, man. Why you acting like you new here, big dog? Why are we acting like we new here? Let me find. Here we go. Ain't nothing new about this, man. This was created a long time ago, and this is just a little bit of it. These are 6 games worth of data. 6, 3 for the Cowboys, 6 in total when you include the Packers' last 3 playoff losses. And if you go investigate, and we did that when we broke this whole thing down, this is a pattern for Mike McCarthy that has to be broken. And for those who say, well, what about the players? Well, yeah, I'll say what I've been saying for years. Okay, you don't have the best of coaching in these games. Now you as players have to overcome that. That's just the pressure that is put on you when that happens. When they don't, you're gonna be a part of the problem too. That's just facts. That's just how it's been here. So I'm not putting the whole thing on Mike, but the conversation was Mike. And when you come out stagnant, when you come out slow, when you come out unprepared, when your head coach admits to you before the Green Bay game, this happened in the playoffs against the Niners. Yeah, man, we were a little nervous. This isn't one game, Dan. You think I come on here and base things off of one game? Stop it. You know me better than that, man. I put in legitimate research and study into this thing. This has been his MO for the better part of a decade in the playoffs. He got fired because he was too stagnant and old school in Green Bay. He starts off his first campaign in Dallas as a play caller, stagnant and old school in Dallas. He had to come out and say, hey, man, I got to take the reins off Dak and just let him go. And Dak goes out there and he just lets it go and is an MVP of the league. Gets to the playoffs and all of a sudden gets stagnant and old school. Because guess what? The butt got tight. It's win or go home. True colors start the show. All I'm asking is for him, Dak, whomever the hell else, to switch it up, which we can't even judge based off of this week 1 game. Hey, this is week 1, man. So I'm not trying to get too far ahead of myself. Because as I explained to you a bunch of times and I explained to Landlord, it's going to be about the how towards the end of the season. Week 1 does not determine anything for me. And no, I'm not basing this off of one freaking game. And I'll leave it at that, man. I'll leave it at that because you've been here, man. You've been here. Y'all taking me saying I'm not judging the Browns defense off the Texans game way out of context. It's because we don't run that style of offense. Somebody here said, what makes the Texans so special? Man, hey, Eastside, your Texans. I don't care how good they may be. But it's the respect I have for the Bobby Slowicks of this league. They make things difficult for these type of defenses. They do different things than we do. We're just going to have to beat the Browns defense in our own way because we don't run that style of offense. Not even close to that, y'all. Come on. Why you think I said, hey, them 50-50 balls, you're going to have to win. Them wide receivers, we're running a lot of slants, right? You're going to have to win these contested type of throws. Dak's going to have to get to the line of scrimmage and out-chess them on the other side of the ball. That's going to have to happen with the particular style of offense that I've seen us run. Now, if something changes, then it changes. Then we take that data and we alter it. But what I'm not going to do is come out here and try to blow smoke up y'all asses and pretend like XYZ is going to happen because I've seen Bobby Slowick and them do it. Ain't doing that, bro. And yes, the Texans. Mostly because of Eastside Harold. It ain't nothing to do with you, CJ. And Eastside Harold just, I can't even enjoy good football because Texas. Zombie BBL Drizzy, appreciate you. He dropped
Super chat
10 and said, I think Mike McCarthy being on a short leash has him pressing. Oh, he ain't seen the game yet. I don't know why Dallas gave Jason Garrett a long tenure, but not giving Mike McCarthy his grace just leaves a lot out there and sets up poor impression. Well, we haven't seen him this year. I think it's fair to not extend him last year. I mean, they could have extended him now, but we'll see what happens.
Super chat.
B Bird dropped 2 and said, "Did you see that we're 6-22 in our last 28 on grass?" That's something that is brought up a lot, and it's starting to get hard to ignore. Football is football. You should be able to play football on grass. That's just how everyone has been trained and grew up on grass. Nowadays, a lot of turf, but 6-22, B-Bird, hard to ignore that. I would like to know what is the offensive output in those games. I'd imagine defensively probably were tighter games. And what is the offensive output? If you got that number, let me know, B-Bird. And then Alejandro,
Super chat,
the barber, dropped 5 and said, it's a must that the offense sets an overwhelming tone starting out this season, especially against a strong run and pass defense. Yeah, man. A lot of y'all talked about this yesterday. We were kind of joking around, must-win game or not. I will say this, there is something to setting a tone for sure. And I think that has a lot more to do with the how. Let's keep it a bean. Whooping on the Giants the way you did last year didn't set a damn thing to me. Didn't set no tone. Didn't set no tone at all. If the Cowboys go out here and they win 13-10, it's a hard-fought game. Your defense is playing well. Your offense is trying to figure things out. They go on a game-winning drive at the end or in the fourth quarter. Your defense makes a stop. That holds way more credence to me than some fugazi, fluky-ass 40-0 game, block, punt, kick, quarterback those 4 interceptions. That holds way more weight to me. So, it's going to be about the how. You can set a tone, believe it or not winning 40-0. So I agree with y'all there. It'd be nice to set a tone. I seen the text, bro. I'll get to it. I'll get to it after the show. I think we got like one more that snuck in here. Let me refresh this thing. Alejandro dropped Alejandro
Super chat.
Dropped another and said that McCarthy has to show clutch time, I guess. Clutch time or crunch time adjustments. I'm encouraged from what I see defensively from Zimmer, though. Yeah, man. Let me just. I like McCarthy, the general. I like McCarthy, kind of the football leader of men. McCarthy has to show, I think, in year 2 that when it's nut cutting time, he's not reverting back to what got him fired in Green Bay. He's not reverting back to the first 6 weeks of his tenure as a play caller in Dallas. He's not reverting back to, oh my God, we're playing good defenses. Look what happens here against San Francisco, against Miami, against Buffalo, et cetera, et cetera. He's the play caller now. He's the game planner now. And then for those who say, well, what about the players? Well, guess what? The players, I say all the time, damn it, you got to overcome it. If it's a shitty game plan, you got to go out there and put on the cake for that game. Now, I don't like for that to happen all year. I don't like for that to happen a bunch in the playoffs, but there's going to come a time, specifically in the playoffs, where you got to put that cape on. Somebody, was it somebody in the chat? Might have, I don't know if it might have been Landler. Somebody in the chat was talking about how, well, the defense gave up 50 and the offense. Man, that was 4 putting on a cape. 4-87. You could argue maybe the Packers might have dialed it back a bit, but ain't nothing about what happened with the offense storming back have to do with a game plan, bro. The game plan, what's that saying? Everybody got a game plan until they get punched in the mouth. The game plan was long gone by the time there was the storm coming back for the Cowboys offense. That was for putting on the cape. 87 putting on the cape. Hell, even Michael Gallup was making some plays out there. It had shit to do with Mike McCarthy, in my opinion. They went out there and tried to execute that piss poor game plan early and got punched in the mouth. I digress. We'll be better offensively and defensively. It's very possible. With McCarthy doesn't have a knife at his back from his OC or DC. More like a bib. And yeah, look, I'm not letting the defense off the hook either. I mean, it's part of coaching. He's just not here right now. We're talking about the Green Bay game. But yeah, he got out game plan too. Piss poor preparation too. Part of that. He ain't here though right now. Zimmer is. And I digress. That'll do it for a very fired up Wednesday show. I appreciate Landlord for giving us that extra content. He'll be live here probably shortly. Make sure you go check him out. I know Law will be as well here in a second. Tomorrow, we will start to narrow down matchups. The first 2 days here were more about the broad horizon, taking a look at, the opponent, what they like to do schematically, some of the statistics, some plays, a little bit of the matchups. But we're going to zero in on these matchups tomorrow. And, part of me, we're going to have to talk about the Tyler Guyton one. But I feel like that's such a low-hanging fruit. But we're going to have to talk about it. But there are other matchups in this game we'll feature that will be key in getting the victory. With that said, I'm going to go ahead and press this button, man.
Push the goddamn button. Push the goddamn button.
Good stuff today, man. Good stuff. Appreciate the callers. Appreciate the super chats. Appreciate the chat. Y'all always keep it fire. On your way out, man, please hit that like button, share, and if you're new here and you enjoy it, subscribe. We out of here. Peace.
Bomb Squad!